I'm here today with Carolyn Zaumeyer, who is an expert in the arena of bioidentical hormones and dealing with the kinds of health issues that we are experiencing in today's world that have the standard of care doctors absolutely stymied. Our guts are under attack, our brains are under attack, our hormone and endocrine systems are under attack. So I want to introduce Carolyn Zaumeyer to you. She's part of the Forever Health Network. Forever Health is a network where doctors and professionals who understand the environmental issues of today, whether they be hormone imbalance or brain issues or gut imbalances, thyroid, etc., how to treat without drugs. Hello, Carolyn, how are you?
Doing well, thank you.
I'm here today. Explain to me, I want to get to sex after 50, and I think that that's a huge topic. But how did you get interested in the whole field of bioidentical hormones?
Well, I've been practicing as a nurse practitioner, doing basically office gynecology for over 20 years. And originally, I was helping women with the synthetic hormones because that was all we knew and that's all we had. And then as time went on, the research studies kept coming out about how horrible the synthetic hormones were. And I knew there must be a better way. So I traveled. I decided to really focus in because if I do something, I want to do it right. And I don't want to hurt anybody, and I want to do it in the most effective way. So I went around the country and I studied under the nation's greats, under Dr. Neil Rausier, under Dr. Sanjita Patti, under Dr. David Rosensweet. And then finally I went to Dallas and I met Dr. Donovitz, and that's when it all came together. With all the other programs, I would come back and I would be assured of the safety and the efficacy and the health benefits of bioidentical hormones, but I wasn't really taught how to prescribe it properly and personalize the dosing. So I was very excited once I got back from Dallas and started to apply the BioT method.
And that's pellets. That's inserting pellets. Is that once a week, once a month, every day? How do you do that?
Yeah, for women it's about every 3 to 4 months, and for men it's 5 to 7 months. And it just gives you a nice continuous delivery of the hormones rather than the ups and downs of the other applications.
So you inject the pellet and then it's just a time release?
It's not really time release. It has to do with your cardiac output. So if you're exercising, it'll release a little bit more. So somebody, that's a couch potato isn't going to get as good of an effect as somebody that's out there having regular cardiac activity.
So it's sort of like a little brain.
Yeah, it's good. It's a happy pellet.
Yeah. Well, I think what I hear most often when I lecture is the loss of interest in sex. It's primarily, I hear from women that they just can't feel anything anymore. It's not that they don't desire their partner, they can't feel. And I feel without sex hormones, how can you feel
exactly?
How do we solve the problem of getting your juice back, as I call it, after 50?
Yeah, it's very simple in optimizing the hormones. One of the reasons I started talking about sex after 50 is that I have had so many women come in and say, my marriage is on the rocks. My husband wants to have sex. I love my husband. I just don't feel it. I don't have that. I don't have the mojo. I don't have the libido. I don't feel it. Or they'll say that things had dried up so much that it hurt. It was like shards of glass. It was like knives in my vagina when I try to have intercourse. Bracing myself, things would tear, so it was just like, holy cow, we've got big problems with not only up here, but down here. And we can fix that with the optimizing the hormones properly. And it's a quick fix. I have people call me 3 or 4 days later after they're pelleting and say, I'm back. I've got my moisture back. I've got my drive back. I mean, for some women, it'll take, depending on how depleted they are, it may take much longer. But I get some really quick results. And I tell you, it feels so good when people come back and they say, you've added color back into my life. You put the zip in my life, the zip of my step. They just are so excited when they come back and they feel so good. So I'm very fortunate that I have a practice where I can give people hope. They come to me and they feel horrible. I mean, I get the menopausal women with the anger, the depression, crying, the whole bit. So I give them hope. I draw their blood. The next day I can actually implement the pellet and they start feeling better.
I also imagine that there's an embarrassment factor, that you can't feel sex. There's a humiliation. Yeah. I know one of the reasons that I started writing the books was I had 3 years where I was aware that I could do it, but I would rather have a smoothie. You can only say no so many times. And so I think there are a lot of women, and you probably know this better than I, who fake it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Or they hide. They hide from their husbands. So it's like, no, 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 you don't have to hide on Sunday afternoon. You know, we can get your mojo back. So then they come back and they're like, we're like honeymooners again. We're just like so into each other. We don't have time for anything else.
I know that one time I was on the talk, and Carney Wilson said to me, how often do you and your husband have sex? And she said, if you tell me more than twice a week, I'm going to shoot myself. And I said, well, actually, a couple of times. And then I sort of sneaked in a day and became more about me. And I only talk about it because I want women and men to know how enjoyable it is to get it back, especially after your kids are out of the house and you've established your career, etc. So what are your experiences? Do you feel you've saved marriages?
Absolutely. I've heard it from the patients themselves. I mean, I remember one particular comes to mind, and she's like, Carolyn, she says, my husband is ready to leave unless I can get it together. And she says, I understand it's different for guys. It's like almost like a primal thing that they want it, they need it often. And she says, for me, it's not on my list of things to do, you know. And I said, okay, we're going to get it back on the list of things to do. And sure enough, she's one of my biggest referrals. She brings in more patients because she heard it was all at the beauty salon, everybody talking about this, and now everybody's coming in to get their magic pellets.
Thank God for the beauty salons and manicurists. That's where all the information gets shared with women. That's our hotline. When a couple is going through this experience where the woman suddenly gets her mojo back, do you find then that the men start coming in, or are they just too embarrassed to do that? Yes,
and then the women start bringing their partners in, and or the partner will call on the sly and say, don't tell her, but I'm going to get my pellets. So everybody, you know, we always talk about balancing hormones, like in you as your body, but I think of it more of as balancing in the relationship. We can't just get one person all ramped up and have the other one still laying on the couch not wanting to do anything.
Yeah, right.
So we got to keep both of them in the picture.
Now, when you're treating a man and a woman, is it the same dose for both?
Oh, no. The men's bodies require much more, and so it's a whole different ballgame for them. But it is still a simple procedure in the office. In 10 minutes, they can have their pellets in their backside. It goes right under the belt, right in the fat there. And we, of course, numb it up first. So it doesn't hurt. Right. And and it just starts to move in. It's like one of my patients, she said her boyfriend after the pelleting, you know, complained for the first 7 days about, oh, it hurts back here. And the 8th day he woke up like, I'm back. It kicked in, you know, so it didn't matter what the backside felt like.
Right, yeah. I always say a healthy person is a sexual person, because what is the last thing you feel like doing when you're not healthy? Is sex. So from a health perspective, what are the advantages of being hormonally balanced?
Well, being hormonally balanced and having regular sex increases your happiness, your sleep, your joy for life. For men, the studies actually show it helps prevent prostate cancer to have regular sex. For women, sexually active women tend to take care of themselves a little bit better, and so they may exercise a little bit more because they're getting naked in front of someone. They may exercise more, may pay more attention to their grooming and to their outfits and the whole thing. It just gives you a better life. It's like people say to me, "Can't I just age naturally?" And okay, let's take an apple and leave it on the counter for 3 months and let's go revisit it. Is that what you want to look like and feel like? Dried up, wrinkled, shriveled up old apple? Yeah, go ahead. God bless you. But I'm not doing that. No.
Do you think it makes your skin look better or your hair?
Absolutely. Yes, you get everything flowing. It's a good way to start your day. It gets your everything wakened up.
Well, I look at you and I look at myself. We both have a good head of hair on us. And I am aware that when women are depleted of hormones, that their hair becomes stringy and dry. Yes. And when you're young and you have beautiful hair, you take it for granted. You don't even appreciate it. It's not till you don't have something anymore that you go, oh, I wish I had appreciated when I had it. So have you been seeing that in your patients, that there's...
Yes, we have a hormone checklist that the patients fills out when they arrive, and it asks them all the questions about their sex drive, their sexual satisfaction, their skin, their moods, their sleep, everything. And one of the things that I see checked off many, many times is thinning of hair, and how unhappy they are with that. And I feel for these women because, like you said, we've got a lot of hair, but I've also been on testosterone for 5 years. You've been on it for a few years. I think that's helping us. I'm not saying numbers, but we're certainly not losing our hair because of it. And that's one of the concerns. Yeah.
One of the only downsides of testosterone is a little extra hair on the chin, but your magnifying mirror is your best friend. I find those couple.
Oh, yeah.
I told my son, when I'm an old lady, I said, if you see any chin hairs, you take them out. Don't let me.
I think the good far outweighs the bad.
Yeah. I imagine you have happy patients.
Absolutely, lots of them. I've got about a 94% return rate for the second pelleting, meaning people feel that good that they come back for more.
So how do you know when, if a man needs more than a woman, how do you know that? Is there any blood work that you do to see levels, or how do you determine the amount? Because it's each person requires, what I need is different from what you need.
First, the patient comes in and we have a consultation. We go over that bioidentical hormone checkoff list. So I understand what their problems are, what they want to fix.
What is on that list? What are the questions that you
That's the sex drive, the sleep, hair loss, just anything that could be related to hormones. I'm sorry?
Weight gain?
Oh, yeah. Weight gain's on there, bloating, yes. And a lot of people are checking that off. And we sit down, we go over the person's medical history as well as their bioidentical hormone checkoff list. And then with their blood, Dr. Donovitz has created a website where I can log on and put in the patient's age, their weight. For males, I put in their exercise level, whether it's low, medium, or high. For women, whether they smoke or not, because that affects their estradiol. And then certain hormone levels, other labs, vitamin D3, thyroid, and then I can mark in their physical characteristics. If they've had a hysterectomy, if they're on hormones, on thyroid medication, I hit calculate and it populates this beginning dose. It's almost like a starting recipe that tells us exactly how many milligrams of testosterone for men, for women, testosterone, estradiol, progesterone, thyroid, vitamin D, omega-3, probiotics, iodine. Gives us a starting list of those things so that we can get the patient feeling better the quickest possible.
And is part of your protocol also cleaning up the diet?
Absolutely. We go over that. Absolutely. We give good recommendations because, the nutrition, I can do everything with the hormones, but if they're eating crap, they're going to feel like it, so it's like we have to get everything tightened up.
It's more work as you get older to stay healthy. Do you agree?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so when people ridicule those of us who take a large amount of supplements every day and we replace hormones, what's your answer to that?
You want to be that apple on the counter? Go ahead. But I'm not aging like an apple. No, the way I look at it is we've got so much left to live. It could be a day or it could be 50 years. We don't know what the end point is.
Right.
Whatever that is in there, I want it to be fabulous. I don't want it to be just so-so. Because I was that way before I was optimized. I was getting through my day. I'd get up, I'd go to work. My goal when I got home was to feed and walk my dogs, put my jammies on, and pour a mug of wine and hit the couch. I was done. I was just exhausted. Once I optimized my hormones, I got it back. I want to go out. I'm painting baseboards, cleaning that garage. I mean, I've got it all going on. So it's like... I don't want to live that life. I had a taste of it. I didn't like it. So, no.
Yeah, I noticed that menopausal women who aren't on hormone replacement tend to drink a lot of white wine. And I've thought about that a lot. First of all, it adds to the menopausal body, which is puffed. It's a puff feeling. I was starting to get like that. And it was, for me, pointed out in the National Enquirer. She looks snug. But I believe that when your hormones are imbalanced, sometimes the only time of the day you do feel good is you have a glass of wine with your girlfriends. Now,
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with a glass of wine or two or whatever you can handle. But I find that alcohol it has its place and it's fun, but being hormonally balanced makes every day a good one. Is that what you are experiencing?
Yes, and I tell you, when you reduce the alcohol, you also sleep better, and you slim down. And one of the jokes with one of my friends was that we wanted to be able to drink through our old age, to have a glass of wine with our friends, but we never wanted to get to the point where somebody told us, you can't have another drink. We wanted to have that control. So we would count how many days a week we didn't drink to make sure that we weren't drinking too much. So we would check in with each other. So.
I think that's very typical. I think that, we're all worried about, or too much is too much, but when it takes the edge off like that, because without hormones, your nerves are jangled. You can't cope as well. Bioidentical hormones. Can you explain to the viewing audience what is a bioidentical hormone?
Yes, I love this part. Bioidentical means the molecule, the actual octagon, the molecule that we see in the science books is exactly as what our bodies produce. So it's used in a kinder, gentler way than the synthetic hormones. I picture those octagons covered in barbed wire, wreaking havoc with the breasts and the brain and everything. So it's plant-derived, made from either Mexican yams or soybeans, and we just remove out the steroid ring. So it no longer has any of the properties for GMO, or if you have a soy problem or anything like that. It's just the steroid ring, compacted into pellets and then inserted under the skin. But it's bioidentical, means the molecule mimics exactly what we produce ourselves. So your body's kind of convinced that it's just naturally producing more. And so it can utilize it as if you just happen to start making more hormones.
Well, in nature, in the animal world, there is no menopause, because by the time they've lost all their hormones, they slow down and get eaten. But we
Hadn't heard that one.
It happened to us. But we are now fortunate in that technology and science has figured out how to extend life. Is what you're doing adding quality to this extension? Because what is fun about extended life if there's no quality?
Well, the studies are showing that our pellet system is actually helping prevent Alzheimer's and dementia, osteoporosis, arthritis. I mean, the studies are incredible of what's coming out. I mean, there's not a bad study out there. And it's just like it's getting better and better and better because we're getting more research proving that it can actually prevent Alzheimer's. I have one patient that comes in and gets pelleted just because both parents have Alzheimer's. She can't afford to get Alzheimer's because she's taking care of them.
Wow.
So,
well, I wonder if the reason that bioidentical hormones prevents Alzheimer's is that when you're not hormonally balanced, you take a myriad of drugs. I call it the menopausal cocktail. These are all foreign molecules which, are toxic, and toxicity ends up in the brain. The brain shrinks to make room for more toxins. So what you're saying makes sense to me, that you put back the hormones and balance them, and then you don't need all those drugs, or maybe any,
right,
get through life.
Yes. Well, Dr. Donovitz has set us up with a wean protocol for antidepressants. A lot of our patients, once we get them optimized in their hormones, no longer need antidepressants. They naturally slim down when they come off their antidepressants. They feel better. They have a better feeling, a better sense of well-being. Because a lot of patients on antidepressants feel disconnected and just kind of the fog, like with the Zoloft. It's like a 5-minute reaction to a conversation. You wait, they finally answer you. It's like, that's no way to live.
I've seen that. It is no way to live. But there's so much negativity surrounding bioidentical hormones from outside forces. Why do you think that is?
Because they don't know. If they're not up on it, they're down on it. I have local providers that are telling my patients, no, you should not be on those hormones. And it's not, they don't take the time to dissect out synthetic versus bioidentical, and that's apples and oranges. There is not one study out there that says that bioidentical hormones, estradiol, causes breast cancer. However, traditional medicine says, oh, estrogen causes cancer and lumps everything all together, instead of actually reading the research and seeing that it is very, very safe.
Well, you know this. In 2002, the Women's Health Initiative did that 10-year study that they stopped after 2 years on synthetic hormones, which you were talking about saying, I'm paraphrasing. It would be better for women to take nothing at all than to take these dangerous, harmful, and even fatal hormones. I call them so-called hormones because they're not hormones. They're made from pregnant mare's urine. So when you are replacing hormones bioidentically, biologically identical to the human hormone, you are putting back exactly what you're missing.
Mm-hmm.
And do you find that some women come in and say, I'm starting to feel a little better, but not quite? And then at what point, what do you do at that point?
Our dosing system is very good. I've been doing this for about 5 years. And when we use our computerized system, our starting dose usually is spot on. However, we have the patients come back in 4 to 6 weeks after their pelleting, do a little small blood test just to see how their body's utilizing it. If they've started training for a triathlon, they're going to burn more. So let me see where you're at, how your body is actually using it. Once I have that information, I can identify whether they would benefit from a little more testosterone, a little more estradiol, or a little less of either. And, also checking in with the patient, because you don't want to just treat the numbers, you want to treat the patient. You want to make sure the patient feels good. If they're not feeling the love, I'll help them find it. So we do check in with that, and then we can alter the doses every time we do the pellets. How's your sex drive? Oh, you want a little more? Okay, I can fix that. A little too much? Okay, we can do that. So.
Do people actually come in and say it's too much?
I have a couple funny stories. The hump in the chair, that's like, yeah.
That seems like not a big complaint.
Very rare.
Well, I guess we could call you the love doctor.
Okay.
What an upbeat way to go into the second half of life.
Absolutely.
And I feel, and you can tell me if you feel the same way, that as we age, that as I've just turned 70, that I never knew aging could be this enjoyable. I don't forget anything. My bones are strong. My libido is rocking. It just makes aging so enjoyable. Do you agree?
I absolutely do. And I have this funny patient, an older gentleman, that before I pellet him, he says, hey, Carolyn, you know what's great about getting old? I was like, well, what's that? And he says, well, once I optimize his hormones, he's like, it's all good. So
I think for men, it's the hardest to get the men in. We women, we want to feel better. And if we hear about a doctor, or I know I keep calling you a doctor and you're a nurse practitioner, but you speak like a doctor. If they can find someone like you, they come. Their girlfriends, it's like the beauty salon and the manicurist, they all talk and they want to come. For the men, when this comes up at a cocktail party, the hormone thing, this is what I hear from men. Well, I don't have any trouble there.
Right.
You get these old coots thinking, yes, you do.
Yeah, the women behind them are going.
So, do men ever come in on their own without?
Yes, we're actually getting phone calls now from men, I guess due to the advertising, of the gels and all that stuff that's becoming more commonplace. When I first trained in Texas, the guys there were very open about it. They were at the barbecue, at the swimming pool. Hey, what's your number? What do you use? And the whole thing. And so I was so excited to bring it to Florida. And like you, I'd bring it up and it would be like, I don't know what my number is, but I'm sure it's just fine. Like I was insulting their manliness. No, I want you to feel good in all aspects of life, not just there, and with a lower testosterone number, that still can be working, but it's not going to be working as good as if we bring you up. Yeah.
Well, that is the standard answer with men. I've got no problem there. But if men could understand that we all deplete hormonally, we all lose nutrients, minerals, hormones as we age. That's what aging is. That we're lucky to be alive right now, because now you can put back what you've lost in the aging process, or due to stress or the environment and toxicity. We've got a couple of minutes left. I just want to have you, if I just tuned in right now, and let's say I'm a female or a male, and I'm over 50 and I'm not feeling the love, what would you say to them?
There's hope. We can make you feel better. There's no reason not to be happy. We want to age healthier. We want to age happier. We want to have a well-balanced life. As far as we want to be physically active, we want to have good nutrition, we want to get good sleep, drink our water, have good sex, because it really makes you feel vital and young, and helps with your skin, helps with everything. So get tested. Find a BioT provider if you're not in Florida, or call me. We can help you feel better. We can help you balance out your hormones scientifically, personalize your dose, give you, number one, the right hormone, bioidentical, only bioidentical, and give it the right dose, personalized for you, with your lab values, your medical history, your physical build, everything that goes into it, your age, your weight, your smoking, and hopefully not smoking. And then we can personalize that dose and get you feeling better now. I mean, it's like, why wait? Why think about it? Just reach out and search us out.
Who wouldn't want that? For more information, go to foreverhealth.com. I want to thank not doctor. You just
You're giving me that honorary doctorate. Thank you.
I'm giving you an honorary doctorate right now. You're sure doing great work. Carolyn Zaumeyer. And remember, foreverhealth.com for getting the help you need to have the life you want. Thanks so much.